Okay, so if you don't know what you're looking at right now, this is the result of Konami cooking. I just don't know whether this is actually edible or not, or if they burned down the entire kitchen. But this is the newest event Konami is introducing for us, and it's Dice Rally. This is a board game. It's Dungeon Dice Monsters, except we're playing actual Yu-Gi-Oh! And you know what? I'm keeping an open mind on this. This could be very interesting. Assuming this works properly, assuming this doesn't actually just break the entire game when it comes here, like assuming it's functional, this is actually something I'm all for. You know, instead of giving us the eighth different our eighth rerun of the Xyz ban list, Xyz event, whatever. Give us more experimental stuff like this. You know, this is events. You know, events are supposed to break up the monotony of playing ranked in Master Duel, because that's the only other way to play the game. Like change it up. You know, this might be interesting. Now I can't comment on whether, you know, obviously whether this is actually going to be an enjoyable experience or not, because I haven't played it yet. But yeah, the gist of this is you duel and you get dice and you get gems for getting dice, and then you when you get a LUT dice, you roll it, obviously, and you advance certain squares forward, and then when you land on a square, you get certain bonuses. So the end info shows us like what the squares do. So like, for example, these squares you would they're squares that would advance you ahead extra spaces if you land on them. You have squares like the N and R, or the rarity squares, where if you land on it, you get a card, and if it's a monster, I believe, yeah, detailed rules, space effects. If it's a monster, you get the monster on your field. If it's a spell card, you add the spell card to your hand, and these are all the cards that you can randomly get if you land on those squares. So very interesting. This is like kind of a roguelike aspect to this event as well. And yeah, this is, I mean, all I can say is that I'm excited to, you know, see how this plays out. This could end up as a hot mess and just break the game, like literally break the game and be completely not functional. Like, you know, we've had events like that in the past, or this could be the way events go moving forward. Which, if it's good, you know, why not? So, anyways, you still do have to, you know, play duel in this event, so you do have to actually use the deck for this. And the good thing is that the event seems to be pretty lenient. As you can see, it's Fusion, Xyz, and Link only, which, frankly, that's gonna be enough for the majority of people. I believe the only mechanic that's not allowed is Synchro. So, like, if you have any Fusion, Xyz, or Link deck, you can probably play this event. I would say that anybody who's basically played for any amount of time should probably have at least one usable deck that they can use for this event, at the very least. And also, there are bonus conditions too, where, for example, here, the first one is normal summon or special summon a monster that is level rank 7 or higher. You get bonus points. Summon a water monster, you get bonus points. Activate a field spell, you get bonus points. So if you also have like a variety of decks that can help you reach these bonus conditions, that's also a thing. But anyways, you know, I'm also gonna go over, you know, what I believe are gonna be some of the top decks, or some decks that have been touched the least for this event. But keep in mind that this is just the starting point. Unlike other events, like the Dual Triangle, there are many viable decks for this event. So yeah, here are some decks that I think are going to be very good for this event. So first off, we're going to start with a Fiendsmith deck. Now I want to bring up Fiendsmith. I want to bring up a Fiendsmith deck first, because because the Fiendsmith engine has been hit for this event. As you can see, Engraver has gone to 1, Tract has gone to 1, and this card in the extra deck, I'm probably gonna have to look up. Forbidden, yeah, Closed Moon, Moon of the Closed Heaven, Hallelujah. This card's banned, so not literally any deck in the entire game can bridge into Fiendsmith anymore. Now you actually have to play Light Fiends in your deck to play the Fiendsmith engine. What a concept! So yeah, that means any of the, you know, dumbass combo decks that just bridge into the Fiendsmith engine using any 2-effect monsters, you know, like Snake Eye, none of those decks aren't gonna work, at least in terms of the Fiendsmith engine for this event. So yeah, if you want to play the Fiendsmith engine, you're gonna have to play a deck that actually, you know, focuses on summoning Light Fiend monsters. So that being said, I believe that those types of decks, actual pure or maybe not pure, but like Fiendsmith control decks that actually focus on Light Fiends are still going to be good for this event, because I mean, Engraver is at 1, so you draw less, but at the end of the day, all you need is 1 Engraver and 1 Tract to access your Fiendsmith engine, then you can just recycle constantly, so on and so forth. So, yeah, this is Primite Fiendsmith, and there are, obviously, it's not just Primite I want to mention, like, pretty much any Fiendsmith deck, I think, Fiendsmith control deck, that you would use in Standard is also at least somewhat viable in this event. For example, if you want to play like Musketeers, if you were playing Musketeer Fiendsmith, Musket is still fine for this event. In fact, it's probably even better in this event because of the lack of light, because of the hits on the Fiendsmith engine. You actually depend more on drawing actual other Light Fiends to access your Fiendsmith engine instead of just hard drawing your Fiendsmith engine, because you can't just... You're not very likely to draw Tract or Engraver now to actually kickstart your combo, so you need to actually bridge into your Fiendsmith engine. Other options, I believe Valmonica is also an option. Yeah, Valmonica seems to be legal, so Valmonica has Light Fiends that can also bridge into the Fiendsmith engine. Yeah, also Pure Fiendsmith. It's a little wonky because Pure Fiendsmith is the Fiendsmith engine, is the Fiendsmith deck that the Pure Fiendsmith is the Fiendsmith deck that depends the most on actually drawing the Fiendsmith cards. So with 1 Engraver and 1 Tract, maybe just having 3 Lacrima is not enough. That being said, if you own 3 Lacrima, I would recommend playing 3 Lacrima in any Fiendsmith deck, in any deck that's playing the Fiendsmith engine in this event, pretty much. So I only have 1 Lacrima, so you notice how I'm making up the consistency for lack of Lacrima is by putting in 2 Goat Sark plus 1 Redox to search my limited effort barrel, because effort barrel is also limited, so you're down a little down on starters. At the same time, this looks kind of sus. Like, I know this looks like you got a lot of limited starters and a bunch of one-offs. How is this consistent? Well, still, just keep in mind that any single of Light Fiend is full combo, even no matter how shitty it is. Like, it could be a fucking vanilla, it still works. So we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 starters, 14 1-card starters. That's still decent. That's like a 90% chance to, open a starter in a 5-card hand. To me, that's enough consistency, especially for an event. So, yeah, this is Primite Fiendsmith. Pretty sure you guys all have a general idea of how Fiendsmith works now. If you don't, I did make a video going over in detail how Fiendsmith control decks works and some basic combos on how to play Fiendsmith control. So if you're interested in learning how to play Fiendsmith for this event, go check out that video. But yeah, let's go over like the deck list, I suppose. So 1 Dippity, unfortunately, White Dust Dawn has been power crept because Dippity entered the game, and then my other vanilla, my level 6 vanilla with actual attack points that I chose is Cypher and Drivers, so we can run the Gamma, because Gamma is a good hand trap. Maxi is banned, by the way, thank God. Events constantly have been getting this correct now, is banning Maxi every event. But yeah, then 1 Lurie, and then we'll go over the hand traps last, but like 1 Lacrima, 1 Effort Barrel. If you have 3 Lacrima, run as many copies of Lacrima as you own. The more Lacrima, the better. The 1 Effort Barrel, the 1 Engraver, 1 Imperial Dragon. This is not necessary. You don't have to run this. It could literally be any card. The reason I'm playing this is because I'm playing Gold Sark. So in the instance where I already have Effort Barrel access, like with Rolly Load, my Gold Sark can search something else besides Effort Barrel, because this would be my only search target. So at least in theory, Primite Imperial Dragon is like a secondary search target if I draw a Gold Sark. So there's that. We have a Redox. I'm gonna open this card every fucking game, but we're gonna deal with it. 1 Tract, 3 Lordly Low, 3 Roar, because with Tract limited, you really don't have you really don't have that many more ways to actually get good ways to get to your Light Fiends. So Primate Roar just being a easy way to just get a Light Fiend out of your deck without a normal summon and being an interruption. It's pretty neat. And then Double Drill Beam, standard for most Fiendsmith control decks now, so you can use 1 every turn. And then 1 Fiendsmith in Paradise and That's it for the main engine, and then the rest is like, I believe this is like 18 hand traps and like +2 triple tactics. By the way, called by and Crossout are banned. Holy shit, base. This is like already the most base ban list I've ever seen, even if it's just an event. So yeah, instead we're running the triple tactics talent because there might be a lot of decks that you can see here that play a lot of hand traps. So there's like 18 hand traps here. You know, we got 3 Purge, 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, 3 Ogre, 3 Veiler, 2 Bell, 1 Gamma, and then double tactics. Thrust is banned, by the way. I don't know why they banned Thrust. I'm not sure. Talents seems to be the better card anyways, but yeah. Then the extra deck, so Moon is banned, and also there's no Synchros, so we don't really have a Chaos Angel play either, so there's a bit more room in the extra deck than normal. So obviously you need the 1 Lacrima, the 1 Necro Princess, double Fiendsmith Desiree if you have double Desiree, because you can do the line where you search Fiendsmith in Paradise, and then you can set the Fiendsmith in Paradise with the Desiree on field, so you can send the entire field with the Paradise, and then after you do that, you can use the Paradise Grave effect to send another card when you're pulling special summons. But yeah, obviously you need 2 Desiree to do that play. And then 1 Abyss Dweller, because Dippity is a level 4, so if you play against like Tyr, which is you know, spoilers, Tyr is a playable deck for this event. Yeah, you can make a rank 4. You can play other rank 4s too. Like this is just one example. Baguska is banned. You can't make Baguska, but you can any other rank 4 is pretty much also this is pretty much also another option you can use. Then the rank 7s, M7 plus Caesar. Then I have a Goblin's Crazy Beast because this is good against spell traps, and like it's just something to test out. Obviously, I think if you have Lars, Evilzar Lars is probably better than Crazy Beast. But you know, Crazy Beast is a goblin, so that's based. We have Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer. This is literally just the overlay on top of a rank 6 to get you an extra material on Zeus. If you don't have Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer, that's fine. You can play Gaia Charger instead. It's literally just the exact same purpose. The only thing is that Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer has like more attack because it gains 300 attack for each material. So for example, this could have like up to 3400 attack, so this can more easily attack over things in order to attack safely, in order to be able to do some top of it. But Gaia Charger is gonna do the same thing 90% of the time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then Typhon, 1 Requiem could probably bump this up to 2. It's not like we have this extra deck is very tight right now. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Sequence, and then the Agnamde. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Primite Fiendsmith. Your Primite Fiendsmith deck that you've been playing in ranked is still viable for this event. Oh, I will say there's one very, very annoying thing about playing specifically Primite Fiendsmith in this event, and it's Primite Roar. So Primite Roar only summons the normal monster from deck if you control no monsters. Now, here's the problem. There's event squares where let's read the event info again. Go down here. Monster card. The monster will appear on your field. If that's actually remarkably ass, because if we land on a square while playing a Primite that gives us a monster on field, that's bad, because that means it turns off the Primite Roar, so it turns off 3 starters from in your deck, which is hilariously very, very funny. And actually, yeah, no, I found a way. There's a way to fix that. Okay, I realized that this is why. Okay, you run Haggard Lizard Dose. Okay, put those Ekis. Put this over Nightmare Phoenix, I suppose. Yeah, or put a Haggard Lizard Dose in here. I got it. Okay, so if we start the field, if we start a duel with a monster on the field, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to normal summon anything, go into Haggard Lizard Dose, and then banish the Haggard Lizard Dose in order to free up your field, which still does not work if you go second. Which is if you go first. So this is still kind of meh, but you know what? It's half the time it works all the time. Yeah, that's actually unremarkably ass. Holy shit, that's a big downside. But still, most of the time, most of the time you should be fine. Most of the time that should not come up, but yeah. All right, next deck is another Fiendsmith deck. It's Live Twin Fiendsmith, which, if you're wondering what the synergy is here, Evil Twin, Kill, Lila, Link 2, this is a Light Fiend. There you go. There's your Fiendsmith access. Now, I just realized that this deck faced the same problem as the Primite deck had, which if you go into a duel where you start with a monster on the field, that's kind of annoying because these Live Twin normal monsters, for some reason, can only special summon another Live Twin from deck if you control no monsters on the field. So again, the events kind of screwing us a little bit, but at the very least, you can play through that because this deck you have extenders. You can just search an extender with Secret Password or Sunny Snitch to search the corresponding thing, cosplay costume, and then special summon it. So you can at least play with 2-card combos if you do start the game with a monster on board. But hopefully, again, that won't come up too often. But yeah, this deck is remarkably unhit. Not a single card from this deck's engine, I believe, is hit at all for this event. The only thing that's hit are the hand traps, because Maxi is banned, and then there's Called by and Cross Out. But without Maxi, you don't need Called by and Cross Out as often. So yeah, instead this deck is fundamentally it looks very straightforward. There's also like one engraver and one track, which this deck you can get away with just running one track. This deck, obviously you benefit from having more engravers and more track, because more engravers and more track are more starters technically, but you can and they're better extenders, but you'll live. You have like 12 ways to a normal summon Live Twin, which normal summon Live Twin is already full combo. The full 1-card combo from this deck, I guess maybe I'll show it. I don't know, because this deck isn't that popular in Master Duel, but you get to basically Evil Twin, Trouble Sunny, plus a Fiendsmith Desiree, plus a Unchained Soul of Rage in Graveyard with the Abominable Chamber set. So you have like a Omni Negate, a Pop, and a Unchained Soul of Rage, which itself is like 3 interruptions because you kill one of their, you link off one of their monsters, then you unicorn. Well, okay, I guess it's 2 interruptions now because SB is banned. So the Rage is like 2 interruptions. You link off their monster, and then you go into the Nightmare Unicorn and you spin another one of their cards. So 1 card gets you like 4+ interruptions plus a draw. 2 draws basically, because you get 1 draw on your turn, then you get another draw on your opponent's turn for the Kill Frost, and then another draw off the Trouble Sunny. So that's like actually 3 draws in 1 turn cycle. So yeah, this deck's honestly very competent, considering that a lot of other decks are hit, and this deck is basically not hit at all for this event. If you still have your Life Twin cards, and I know you probably have the Fiendsmith cards by now, so go for it. Actually, wait, hold on, I'm missing a card. Yeah, we're putting in a Lacrima here. That's over to Ghost Mortar. Yeah, I forgot Lacrima was a card for a second, but yeah, put in the Lacrima so that you can summon the Lacrima to get an extra body that way. So yeah, this is Life Twin Sprite. Go over the deck list real quick. I mean, again, it's very straightforward. There's like with any Fiendsmith deck, is you have your minimal like other engines, so 3 Kill, 3 Lila, 1 of each of the costumes, then 3 Secret Password if you have it, 3 Sunny Snitch, and then the Fiendsmith engine is just 1 Lacrima, 1 Engraver, 1 Tract, 1 Lurie, and then we're also running the Unchained Soul of Shivara plus the Abominable Chamber just to get additional interruptions on the end board, and then the rest is just fucking non-engine hand traps. Like run whatever the hell. Run whatever hand traps you want. Run whatever non-engine you want. Droplets probably also fine. I will say probably don't run cards like Bishiops or Nibiru in here, because again, as mentioned before, if you start your turn with a monster on board, your Live Twin monsters are turned off. Their special summon effect is turned off, so you don't want to conflict with yourself if you don't have to. So yeah, I wouldn't play Nibiru or Bishiops, but any other hand trap, you got plenty of room for hand traps. You got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have room for 20 hand traps. Again, another Fiendsmith deck, room for 20 non-engine, 20 hand traps. So Yeah, and then the extra deck. So the extra deck: 1 Lacrima, 1 Necrocrypt, 1 the Desiree, 1 Requiem, 1 Unchained Soul of Rage, 2 Evil Twin Kisakill Link 2s, 2 Evil Twin Lilith Link 2s. You might not need let me check for a second, because the only reason, like, yeah, the Cashier Unicorn is banned, so you don't even need 2 of this. The only reason I ever ran 2 Lila was because of because of Cashier Unicorn, and without Cashier Unicorn, you don't even need, you can get away with running 1. So if you have anything else you want to run in this spot, like a Typhon or like a Flex spot, go ahead. 1 Muckcracker, 1 Unchained Soul Lord of Yama, 1 Sequence, 1 Unicorn to link off into with the Unchained Soul of Rage, 1 Trouble Sunny, and then a Nightmare Griffin. So Nightmare Griffin is in the 2-card combos, you can Griffin lock your opponent. So yeah, that's fun. That's the thing. We can Griffin lock our opponent in this event. Maybe this is the event where I dust off this deck and actually play it. So just to give an idea of how this deck works, I'll show you just the 1-card combo with just any Live Twin normal summon, Lila or Kisakill. So yeah, we're gonna normal summon our Live Twin monster, and we're gonna summon the other from deck. I'll summon the Frost. Pretend we don't have any other cards in hand, and then we're gonna go these 2 into Kisakill, and then Kisakill effect can revive the Lila, and then isn't this neat? We can turn our Link 2 Light Fiend Evil Twin Kisakill into a Fiendsmith Requiem. Hell yeah, I heckin' love Fiendsmith. Anyways, summon out our Lacrima, and then Lacrima will send Engraver. Then these 2 will go into the Evil Twin Lila, the Link 2. And then Lila can revive our Evil Twin Kisakill, and we get to draw a card. Sick. Just what I needed. Another Life Twin monster. Anyways, now link these 2 into Trouble Sunny. And you're doing this to get the Trouble Sunny Engrave. And now you're going to use Trouble Sunny's effect. And you're going to summon out both the Link 2s. So Kisakill and Lila. And don't pop a card unless there's something your opponent has that you can pop. And then you're gonna link both of these into Yama. And Yama is gonna add you your Shabara. And next, using Graver's effect, shuffling back the Sequence or Requiem. And then Engraver plus Yama go into your Unchained Soul of Rage. And then use Shabara's effect to pop your Unchained Soul of Rage. And this will trigger your Yama effect and your Rage effect. So Rage is going to target the Engraver and add the Engraver back to our hand. And the Yama is going to trigger and then summon back our Trouble Sunny. And not destroy card, activating Graver. Add Tract. Now we use Tract to add Lurie. Lurie, send special back to Lurie. And here, this is optional, but you can use Tract's Engrave effect. That way you have more follow-up on the next turn. So we can use Tract, for example, to summon Lacrima by using Trouble Sunny plus Fable Lurie. And then this will trigger Lacrima, and Lacrima can target our Trouble Sunny to summon back our Trouble Sunny. So it's back on the field. And now we can link the Lacrima plus the Shabara into Sequence, and then that will trigger our Shabara, and I'm not going to use Lacrima, so we're going to set Chamber, and now Sequence effect. We're going to shuffle back 3 for Desiree, so we're going to shuffle back Lacrima, Lurie, and Engraver. 4 Desiree. And we're going to equip the sequence to the Desiree because there's no room in these extra decks for Agnum If you do somehow find room for Agnum you would link these off into Agnum obviously, and then Agnum would revive the Desiree, so you would have a bigger Desiree. But since you don't have, since I currently don't have the room for it in my extra deck, I'm going to just equip the sequence directly. And this is the end board. So you have Trouble Sunny, which is a pop and a draw, Unblockable Chamber for Rage, which is gonna link off your opponent's monster. Then Nightmare Unicorn, spin another monster because it's the event and SB is banned, so all you can do is Nightmare Unicorn, but that's fine. You can also co-link the Nightmare Unicorn to the Trouble Sunny if you want, or co-link to your Live Twin links that you summon back off the Trouble Sunny to get an extra draw. Then Desiree is an Omni-Negate to make sure that your Unchained package goes through. And then you drew a card on your turn. You're gonna draw another card off Trouble Sunny on their turn. You're gonna draw probably another card off the Nightmare Unicorn, and then you're gonna draw another card off of the Kizukill Frost if your opponent searches a card from their deck to their hand. So you're gonna draw 4 cards while having an Omni-Negate, Unchained, Soul of Rage live plus Trouble Sunny pop. So yeah, also still have 4 cards in hand from the one combo, because it's the 1 card combo. So yeah, this is a look out for this deck. If anybody owns this deck, this is gonna be a sleeper build, a sleeper pick for the best deck for the event. Okay, next. Oh boy. Eat your heart out, Joshua Schmidt, Jessica Robinson, whoever. They... Yeah. There's not a single goddamn card in this deck that's been hit on the ban list. This is a... Wow. I literally just poured in my 40 card plant deck, or my plant deck from Ranked, that's legal on Ranked, and I just put it in here and I took out Maxis and called by and cross outs. And yeah, here we go. This is wow. Did they ban anything from plants? Did they at least hit the Regu? They hit Regulus? No, Regulus is legal too. What the fucking huh? Is there a single card hit in this? Is like a Cactus Bouncer, right? At least they hit the Floodgates, right? Okay. At least you don't end on a Floodgate. You just end on 7, 8 interruptions instead. Surely that's good enough, right? I mean, surely that you will be able to play through that, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. You play against a plant player, it might be GG's. I don't know. This seems kind of wow. Why the fuck did they not hit a single card from this again? The Konami for Gore once again. So. Yeah, this is 40 card plants. If you want to know like how to play 40 card plants and you want a combo guide, I actually have a video on how to play 40 card plants. It has a couple combos on what to do, so go check it out. Check out that video if for some reason you have the cards to play this deck but you have never played it for some reason. Or if you want to play the 60 card plant builds, go check out Jessica Robinson's channel, Junsi Jess. I'm sure she has plenty of content on how to play 60 card plants instead, if that's more your thing. But currently, I can do the exact same goddamn combo I can do normally in ranked, and the same amount of consistency. I don't know what I kind of don't want to release this video. This is like I don't want to inspire people to play plants for this. This is not. Yeah. So plants also got buffed from the last pack. So Sensi Genius Loci is obviously the best card in the deck, and the last pack with the Primite cards, they gave this deck 6 more copies of Sensi Genius Loci. So now you have 12 copies of Loci, including 9 Unexpected Die. You have 3 Lorelilo to search the Roar, which Roar summons up the Loci. You have 3 Unexpected Die to start with the Loci. So yeah, you can basically do the entire combo without normal summoning 80% of the time. Lovely. That's just what this deck needed. Just more copies of Loci. This deck will honestly, I don't think this deck will ever brick if you just max out on the Primite cards, which I'm not even sure if you need that many, but why not? Right? It's legal for this event. So yeah, 3 Loci, 3 Evil Seed, the best starters, 1 Sensi Twin, the brick, which honestly is not even that much of a brick anymore because the Ragnaraika cards can honestly just put this back in your deck. It's fine. 1 Lonefire, 1 Samurai Beetle, 1 Rikka Princess, 1 Petal, 1 1-for-1. Also more copies of either Ragnaraika, Evil Seed, or Sunseed Genius Losai. 3 Unexpected Die, 6 Unexpected Die, 9 Unexpected Die, 1 Glamour, a Sewing, a Con, a Bloom, 1 Rikka Sheet on your opponent, and 1 Hunting Dance, and then non-engine, which is like, this deck is like so strong going first, you might as well just play turn any hand traps going second, because Call By and Crossout are banned anyways, so like, these are gonna resolve. You can just droll your opponent and Fool Loss your opponent, and they will probably not be able to combo that hard afterwards. And then 3 Ash just to negate Fool Loss in case you are running it, and then 3 Imperm, which could be, honestly, could be Nibiru. Maybe Nibiru is more impactful than just a single Imperm. I don't know. That'd be a lot of Fiendsmith decks playing a lot of hand traps. That might be like the one thing, is that every deck that's not plant is playing a lot of hand traps, so they might be able to contest this. Which, you know, hopefully something contests this. You know, this is just playing plant mirrors all day is not really the most fun. But yeah, then the extra deck. So this extra deck for a 40 card build is pretty set in stone. There's like no flex spots. The 60 card build is going to look a lot different. So again, look at Sunseed Jess's channel for a 60 card reference, which I'm sure is still completely legal for this event too. Why not? But yeah, 1 Strenna, 1 High Paraton, no other level 8. We don't run the Rikka Teardrop in this build since there's no room, and honestly, this is your end board's good enough anyways. We have 3 Dry Ass, 2 Healer, a Thrasher. We can still do Thrasher OTK with this build. Double Jasmine, Dance Peony. Never mill with this card in the 40 card build. You actually can't take advantage of additional mills. Like you don't need the extra bodies. This is just for level modulations to be able to make Strenna. 1 Ragnaraika Skeletal Soldier, 1 Melodious, 1 Rosemary, just random removal, and then 1 Bangalancer. So like the end board is generally gonna be Bangalancer, High Paraton, Con with a Rikka Sheet set, probably a Ragnaraika Hunting Dance as well, and then Princess Engrave, and yeah, Rikka Princess Engrave. Every Princess Engrave is just the disruption apparently. This Promethean Princess, whatever. But yeah, that's like that's already like 5-6 plus interruptions, plus like non-engine possibly. Like imagine having a droll on top of the end board, literally unplayable for your opponent. But yeah, I mean, not much more to say. It's fucking plants. Plants are gonna be illegal for this event. We'll see how popular plants are, because any plant player is probably, and like they should be playing this, because like this is like literally the best thing they could be playing for this event probably. So next we have Fire King Snake Eyes, and full disclosure, you could basically run almost the exact same list as you could run in the Fire Wind group from the Dual Triangle last event. But the only difference would be that you're allowed to run more hand traps in this one, because you're not limited to just wind and fire hand traps. So you can run stuff like Valor or Krills or whatever. But the main deck, the ratios are mostly the same. Diabellstar is still banned, and therefore the Azamina cards are useless, and Wanted is still useless. Bonfire is limited, and they also limited Kieran. So like this is pretty much the same ban list for Fire King this event as it was last event. It's just that now you're no longer restricted to just fire and wind cards. And you could basically just take the exact same list that you ran last event if you were playing Snake Eyes Fire Kings last event and played in this event. Me, I noticed that because we're allowed light monsters now, I'm playing my favorite package of all time, which is the Springans package. Now this is completely not necessary, and honestly, it's probably better that you don't even play this. Like you're just adding 2 bricks into your deck to make a UDF. But you know, I like these cards, and the idea with the Springans packages is basically anytime you resolve Fire King Island, you can get 2 level 8s on board. 2 level 8s go into Explorer, and it has removal, but that's not the point. You run this. You run Explorer so that you can overlay into Sargass, and then Sargass will add Tallyho Springans, and Tallyho Springans will let you summon Sargass to the field and Explorer back to the field, and then Explorer plus Sargass can go into Utopia Draco Future, because these are 2 rank 8 Xyz that aren't numbers, and then you can go into Utopia Draco Future. So off of, you know, 1 Fire King Island resolving any 2 level 8 monsters, you get a UDF plus a Sargass. And Sargass is basically you can detach some material from an Xyz monster you control, then destroy a face-up card. So basically this is a quick effect pop, which is also it's a fire monster. So you can do other stuff, you know, like potentially you could even Sargass pop itself, because it's a fire monster, trigger your Garunix Engrave, and then you can go that way too. And that's just like if you have nothing else. If you have Snake Eyes cards as well, then you can have like a Flamberge on the side as well, and then it gets really crazy. But obviously, like, this is not, like I said, this is not optimal. This takes up 4 extra deck slots and 2 main deck slots. These could literally just be more non-engine that you could run. They could be more Fire King Islands or more Skyburns too. Like, that's probably better. And then you could save 4 slots in the extra deck to run whatever the hell you want. You know, but notably, I'm not playing stuff like Hitso or Nightmare Phoenix because of space issues to include this package. So obviously, you know, there are shortcomings, but yeah, if you're a Springans fan, if you played Fire Kings during the Xyz Cup and you're nostalgic for the Xyz Cup for some reason, like I am apparently, then you can play the Tier 0 Xyz Cup deck, which was Fire King, Springans Fire Kings. Except now you also have access to links, so this is even better. But yeah, besides the Sargass Springans package, the rest of the stuff I think is mostly self-explanatory. It's just based on, you know, how many copies of Ponyx you have. That's basically the main thing, because you're gonna run the 1 Ash, you're gonna run the 1 Oak, you're gonna run the 1 Poplar, obviously, and you're gonna run the 1 Flamberge. I don't know if it's if you have more Garunix, you should probably run more Garunix. I only have 1, so that's all I'm running. And then 1 Karen is limited. The 1 for 1 just because you're lacking starters. The 1 Bonfire, the 1 OSS. You could run more OSS as well if you have it. And then 3 Alcanix, 1 Arvada, 1 OG Garunix, and then the rest of the Fire King lineup is like kind of ratio. It's kind of depending on like what ratios you want to run. Because I own 3 Ponyx, so I can play 3 Ponyx. Most people probably don't have 3 Ponyx, so you know you might maybe have 2 or even just 1. Even if you just have 1 Ponyx, it works. It's fine. Like, you can just replace it with more Fire King Island, because Fire King Island is consistency. Basically, you can just normal summon any hand trap. Like, if you just replace Fire King Island, or like, if you just replace copies of Ponyx with hand traps, you can just literally just normal summon a hand trap into Almirage, then pop the Almirage with Fire King Island, and then you can add Garunix, and then you can Garunix pop Alcanix, summon Garunix from deck, and then you can go Zombie Vampire. Also, another card I'm not playing here because if I'm playing the Springans package, I'm probably going to go into the Springans package when I make a rank 8 over Zombie Vampire, but you 100% should play Zombie Vampire if you're not playing the Springans package. That way, like, any hand trap plus Fire King Island can potentially get you to a starter, or potentially mill you a Snake Eyes card or a Fire King card, and then you can continue from there. But yeah, then I'm running like I'm running 3 Sanctuary, 2 Fire King Island, because these are also basically, these are technically starters. It's even if you don't open them with a fire monster, which most of the time you will open these with a fire monster anyway, so it's fine. And even if you don't, this is part of the reason why I'm running Crow, because Crow is another hand trap that I can normal summon and then, you know, turn into a Almirage to a pop with Fire King Island. 2 copies of Skyburn. Could probably get away with just 1, honestly, but since you're playing more of a pure Fire King build instead of like a Snake Eyes Fire King build, since like you're not gonna have access to Snake Eyes cards as often, obviously, without the Wanteds, without the Dive Bellstars. So when you're playing more of a pure Fire King grindy game, then that's when the games can go on for a bit longer, and then that's where having a second Skyburn to search might come in handy. Especially if you're already running this many copies of Fire King Island, like there's a high chance you're going to open with Sanctuary or Island in the first place, in which case you're probably going to be ending up searching Skyburn anyway, so definitely having multiple copies can come up. And it's pretty much it for the main engine. Again, it's like mostly Fire King, Snake Eye stuff. I'm sure you guys probably know what most of this stuff does by now, seeing how this has been a deck for basically a year at this point. And then the non-engine is just I'm playing Veilers, Ash, Imperm, Dominus Impulse, and then DD Crow. You can play Nibiru as well. You can play Fuelos as well. You can play whatever the hell you want. Like honestly, it doesn't matter. You can also play Tactics too. Like you can play whatever non-engine you want. I think most of them will be fine. I don't like Fuelos again because Fuelos, especially when you're playing a pure Fire King deck, that you're getting into more grind games, and then like anytime you're not going exactly second, like in turn 1, then Fuelos is dead, and like I kind of don't like that. Also, I don't know what the meta is going to be like exactly. I don't know if Fuelos is going to be great or not. I know that there might be. I feel like there's going to be a lot of Fiendsmith decks still, even though they hit Moon, which sounds weird, but like. Honestly, the meta is hard to predict right now. There could be mirror matches. Crow is like generally okay against most things. Could be Bestios as well, but like again, if I play against a mirror match, I do not want Bestios in my deck. I'll say that. And also, I can't. This is like really stupid, but like I can't normal summon a Bestial to turn into a fire monster to pop Fire King Island, because like Fire King Island is such a big part of the consistency of this build because of the lack of like other Snake Eyes access to other Snake Eye starters. So, you know, maybe that will be relevant. Probably won't be. I should probably just be playing Bestios over DD Crows, but again, we'll see how the meta shapes up, and we'll see how much like it even matters based on like the how the board game works. And yeah, the extra deck. So Linkuriboh, Almirage, Sunlight Wolf, Hita, IP, Nightmare Unicorn because SP is banned, so this is the alternative. Promethean Princess, Ambler Whale, Zealantis, Raging Phoenix, and Garunix. I think everything from Garunix on should be mandatory. Appaloosa is banned, so I also could encourage like playing something like a Heat Soul instead, you know, just to end on something else when you open Snake Eyes starters and stuff. But yeah, then this stuff. So this is the Springans package that you can go into UDF with, and Sargass is also removal. Like these are also good cards going second, because again, Explorer is removal by targeting zones. Sargass, when an Exceeds material is detached from a monster, it can destroy or bounce a card, so that's also a form of removal. But obviously, if you're not playing the Springans package, then probably you should have like a Zombie Vampire, a Nightmare Phoenix, and maybe a Dark Charmer, maybe then like the flex spot, which would normally be Appaloosa, but since we don't have Appaloosa, literally could be whatever the hell you want. But yeah, this is Fire King Snake Eyes. It was great last event, so it's probably going to be as good as it was last event, if not better, because of the more options for hand traps. So next we have another deck that's basically at full power. I'm also shocked by this, although like admittedly, I guess Melodious and Plants aren't on everyone's minds as being like super annoying, oppressive decks in the format right now or anything. But I mean, when every other deck is hit and like the decks like this are basically full power, these decks are competitive in standard format. So like I can only imagine how it would go in like a format where every other deck that this deck normally competes against is nerfed or non-existent. Blue Eyes. But yeah, this is Melodious. It's a fusion link based deck that runs Typhon as an Xyz if you want. And yeah, this is the advantage of Melodious is obviously that, you know, all the non-engine space and all that and all forth, and also the quality of the non-engine Hero of the Origin Light, insane hand trap, and then Dominus Purge also pretty good, if I do say so myself. And then, you know, room for 10 more hand traps, Valor, Ash, Imperm, and I put in a Bell because honestly the only reason I put this here is because I have the alt art of this, so like I'm putting in an alt art hand trap. Don't know if this is the best one to run. Again, the meta is kind of undefined as of the recording of this video. But yeah, then we have we can go over the stack, but like these are all just standard ratios. Okay, like I looked like at a bunch of decks, and I think these are pretty much standard ratios, especially like for like event decks where there's no max C to worry about, so there's no plan B, there's no Baguska that you have to worry about as much. I guess Fool Loss still exists, but I don't know how. I also don't know how important how relevant Fool Loss is going to be. This is a deck where you need to have a clear board for Ostinato and first movement solo, so that's why we're not playing stuff like Nibiru or Bestios, obviously. And yes, I realize that the board squares that give you a monster on board is going to be hella annoying. So it's another reason why we run the Haggard Lizard those. So hopefully that when we go second, we at least can clear our board. Going first and starting with a monster on field, that might be a little bit rough, but you know, I'm sure there'll be a way to make it work. And at the very least, you know, maybe link it off in like a Haggard Lizard those, and then is there like a generic Link 2 fairy that you can make with any two monsters so that you can link off that fairy into Bloom Harmonist? Is there a way to do that? I'm not sure. I didn't quite look that deep into the card pool, but yeah, we have 3 Sonata. 2 is usually standard. 3 is because I don't know. I guess you can run 3 just for more consistency because I mean this is an event. So like you can get away with running a bit more engine for consistency. I suppose you could also run like a Desire in place of this, but Desire seems a bit wonky in this deck because it's not really useful too much as a consistency, because if you use it as a consistency, you're gonna Desire banish a lot of your engine and endboard pieces, like your Arya especially, so it's kind of risky. But I mean you could. Better players than me have used Desires in this deck. Obviously the one Arya and Cannon, which is honestly this is probably not necessary. Like you probably cut this for another hand trap, because I mean I think like the main purpose of this was like when you got Max Seed, it's a level 4 that you can summon so that you can at least make Babushka, but as I mentioned, you know, Max Seed is banned, so maybe this won't come up as much. And yeah, Soprano, Elegy, not always ran, but in an event, sure, why not? You could get set up Arya plus Elegy lock. Now your monsters can't be destroyed by battle, can't be destroyed by guard effects, and can't be targeted, and most decks this format cannot beat that. You know, nice Primite Drill Beam. What the hell are you gonna do with that? Target your own card with it. Nice. One Shopina, sorry. 3 Refrain, 3. Couple of these are the starters, the monster starters, 1-card starters. First Movement Solo, Ostinato, double Tactics, because I don't know what else to put. I don't know if running 3 Bell would be excessive or not. I'm not sure how good Ghost Ogre is going to be, because there's no Blue Eyes in this event, so that's like the biggest reason to play Ogre. And if instead of Blue Eyes there's more like Fiendsmith type decks, that's like the worst type of deck to play Ogre against. But yeah, so instead we're just playing 2 Tactics instead of the Callbys and the Crossouts for now. Concerto, and then like the Imperm and stuff like that. Yeah, this is pretty standard main deck, honestly. Like you can literally just copy a main deck list from like any Master Duel meta, or like any deck from Master Duel meta, and then like just replace the Callbys with Tactics, and you'd be 99% of the way there. Extra deck: 2 Schuberta, 3 Baja, 2 Etoile, and 2 Bloom Harmonist, 1 Gravity Controller, and that's it. Like those are the only really important ones to run. The rest is just filler. Abyss Dweller, because you know, you play against here, you just Dweller them with Cannon. Why not? I guess it's like the 15th extra slot doesn't even come up normally usually, so like it won't really come up much this event. Also good against Primite Fiendsmith and like just Fiendsmith in general, and like some Primite builds in general, so it's alright. Moon, this is basically SP but for fairies in this, and the removal effect. It's not an interruption, like don't get it twisted, but this is like removal, a generic Link 2 removal for fairies. Well, it's not generic, it's a fucking fairy Link 2 that you could use to pop cards. So yeah, that's why it's here. Haggard Lizard those, as aforementioned, for clearing your board when you start the duel with a monster on the field for some reason. And then Underworld Goddess, because I have a Royal, and you know, you could this could come up. There are untargetable monsters, might be a pain for you to get over sometimes. Of course the Typhon, but yeah, this is a really standard Melodious like that. You know what, I really gotta say anything more about this. Your opponent can't target or destroy or attack over your monsters, and then you just bounce. You just like heck bounce every turn. Schuberta banish their graveyard every turn. Schuberta solo is like, you play against any Fiendsmith deck, this is gonna like Schuberta's gonna fucking destroy any Fiendsmith matchup. So that's another reason why this deck is like good like in standard format, and like it could be good in this format depending on like how relevant those types of decks like Fiendsmiths and Tier and stuff like that are, or like, you know, as I've shown before, like Fire King, so on. But Yeah, it's Melodious. So yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for this event. Much more so than I would be for like a normal event, because I mean, let's be honest, most other events are just like the same events rehashed over and over. I mean, how many times have we gotten the fucking Xyz or Fusion or Synchro event by now? Like, yeah, this is could be a nice change of pace, provided this works properly. And let me know what you guys are playing for this event. And because the ban list is also quite lenient for this event for the most part, I'm sure there'll be some decent budget offers available too. Not that you might have a chance with like more budget decks too, just because this is you could just get lucky and like, you know, get better cards than your opponent, or like get advance in multiple spaces and have to duel less and, like, you know, advance to your goal faster than other people would. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't exactly know how this event works yet, so I'll keep you updated once the event comes live, and I'll give you my opinion on how if this deck is if this event is actually legit or not. But yeah,